Great. So before we wrap up the Amazon talk, I had to ask you the third-party tools that you are a fan of. So you mentioned the FBA routing. So instead of using Amazon's, would you share with us which one you like the most?
So I actually don't even know the name of who we're using. My partner and co-founder Thomas handles a lot of the app selection and management and stuff on the back end. Maybe we can post that as a follow up.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the podcast
So I mean,
notes.
yeah, these days everybody is always looking for something, that's
Yeah,
useful. So we'll post
yeah.
it so our listeners and viewers just look out for it in the episode notes and you'll see it there. So Jordan, this is a great conversation. We covered so much, and ironically, today this is my second recording today,
Oh,
and my first guest was the founder of a huge agency with 500 plus
wow,
people working in the company. His
wow.
name is Stephen Pope. He's the founder of My Amazon Guy, and I had a very meaningful conversation with him. But I have to say that your tips and then your experience beats what he suggested for brand new sellers to launch. It's yours was a lot more action packed. Now he, on the other hand, gave extremely fundamental tips for
Mm.
those. Because my question to him was, tell me, how does an Amazon seller become successful if they are a new company, new brand, and new listing? In other words, complete blank slate. And he gave the formula. He said, this is what you do. And but I'm like I said, this conversation is much better in terms of how people can take action. So it's a great conversation. So before we go, I want to now learn a little bit about you. So how does a franchisee become an Amazon seller? And we already said passion, but that's not what I'm asking about. What I'm asking about is you were a you were a franchisee before, so you weren't working in a company, so you were an entrepreneur. So clearly you were running your own business, and then instead of doing something else, you said, okay, I'm going to start another business. So what was it before the franchise operation? What did you do before that?
I'll tell you that. Before though, I'll just give one super fast tip for new sellers on Amazon because of how you sort of ended your section there, and I'll just say that don't wait till you think things are perfect and that you're fully satisfied. Get your listing up and learn from within. Things don't need to be perfect. Once you're 80% of the way there, that's enough. Get going and then iterate. Do not wait till you think it's perfect because you'll never launch. So
Yeah,
that's
action is
that
better.
helps.
Action is better. Action is better, right?
Action is better. So actually, I only became an entrepreneur, in my mid 40s. Prior to that, I worked for an enterprise software company for the majority of my professional career, for 13 years roughly, and I learned a lot, worked along some smart people, and it was sort of started in the .com days, in the boom, and it was intimidating. A lot going on, things were changing, and some of the people around me were super smart. And there were many days where I was happy that they were leading the business, and I just got to go home and not worry about paying the bills, or anything like that. And it took some time to build the self confidence, that I could try something myself and to not be afraid to put myself out there. And the franchising opportunity. It was something I found after sort of leaving my past job. And initially, at the end of my previous career, I started looking for new opportunities. But then I realized I needed to sort of stop working and not have that to fall back on, not have that paycheck and that comfort to fall back on, and really sort of expose myself in order to find the next thing. And so I left what I was doing with no plan B. Took some time to myself, and a couple months later, I stumbled on You Break I Fix and saw that there might be an opportunity to build a business in the Canadian market. And one thing led to another. I got some great help from mentors and folks who gave me some time. It's amazing what you can get, if you ask people for help, and acquired the rights and launched that business. And, ended up selling it to the parent company that acquired the franchise itself in the US about 8 or 9 years later. And then just went to one of my passions, which was houseplants and gardening and just enjoying those things. And, as you said in the beginning, that led my wife one day to say, hey, if you're itching to, get back into things, why don't you try and do something around something that you're passionate about? And that led me here into this podcast.